Hello everyone, I'm FMZ and welcome to another episode of Who to Manage in FM21. Today we're going to take a look at Chelsea FC, the biggest spenders from the Premier League this past summer. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified when a video goes up on the channel. And leave me a comment if you've got any teams you want me to take a look at. Right, let's get to the bridge and have a look at the Blues. So here we are with Chelsea's squad. And as you can see right away, there are a lot of players that have gone out on loan from Stamford Bridge this summer. A lot of big names like Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Timo Bakayoko, Zappa Costa, Jamal Blackman has done his obligatory loan out of Chelsea. So we're going to take a look one by one at each department to see your options, starting with the goalkeepers. If you remember back to the video we did with Tottenham, we included the under-23s, and we have done that once again with Chelsea. But they have a very good number of frontline goalkeepers already at your disposal. Obviously, they have Kepa, who was last season the number one. Willy Caballero, who was at Manchester City, but has now been with Chelsea for a couple of years. They've brought in Edouard Mendy to compete with Kepa and Willy Caballero for that number one spot. So, for my opinion at least, you're all right in the goalkeeping department. Obviously, you've got players that are coming through. We've mentioned Blackman already. You may want to have a look at him. You may want to sell him. Personally, I think he's a very good backup goalkeeper, so you may want to look to keep hold of him. Nathan Baxter's another one that goes out on loan quite regularly from Chelsea, so again, you might want to take a look at him. Moving in to defence and starting with right back, where the first name that jumps out is the captain, Cesar Azpilicueta. He's been with the club a few years now. Coming through the ranks, obviously, is Reece James, now part of the England setup, so you've got those two competing for the starting position at least. Tomori's a great right back. De Jong Sterling is coming through the ranks. A young prospect that you may look to loan out, although you've got quite a few players out on loan as I've mentioned. And obviously Kurt Zuma can fill in at right back, as can Antonio Rudiger. But they're predominantly centre halves. Moving to the opposite side, where Chelsea bought in this summer arguably one of the best left backs England have produced over the last 5 or 10 years, and that is Ben Chilwell. So you have no problems in the left-back position. You've got Emerson as a backup. You've got Marcus Alonso as a backup to Chilwell. Azpilicueta can also play on the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side. You've got a good couple of players coming through the system as well. Baba Rahman is a good left-back coming through, as is Henry Lawrence. Moving into centre-half, where Chelsea have bought in a serial winner in Thiago Silva this summer. Getting on in years, but can help the young guys around him to develop probably over the next year, possibly two. He might last a bit longer than that, but I would say it's probably going to be a 2-year cycle for Thiago Silva before he eventually retires. Other key centre-backs, Andreas Christensen is a first-choice centre-back in my opinion. Kurt Zuma, as I've mentioned already, can play centre-back, and that is his predominant position. Antonio Rudiger is another one that you've got. Jake Clark-Salter is probably your best coming through the ranks, along with Tomori. But again, Tomori is predominantly a fullback as opposed to a centre-half. Moving into midfield, now we'll take a look at the more attacking midfield players shortly. But we'll pick out the ones that are going to play predominantly in centre midfield. So you've got Jorginho, you've got N'Golo Kante, and you've got Mateo Kovacic. They're probably going to be your predominant three. Obviously, Danny Drinkwater is still with the club. How that's happened, goodness knows. Billy Gilmore is another player coming through. Of the players that are out on loan, obviously, Conor Gallagher is one that I particularly like. I had him in an FM20 save, and I thought he did very well, but that was at championship level. So he may need a bit more development before he's ready to make the step up to the first team. Ross Barkley again has gone out on loan, and I'm a bit puzzled by that one because I like Ross Barkley as a player. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is another one who's been in and out of the Chelsea setup, whether he's been with them and then out on loan and then back again. It was a bit of a shame that they had their transfer ban cut short last year, because I thought with the players that they've already got at the football club, that they were going to be able to develop those and start to use them a bit more predominantly. But alas, their transfer ban was shortened, and obviously they went out and spent money. Some of these players will get lost now in the development. But it is in the attacking positions behind the striker where Chelsea spent the most of their money this summer. So Christian Pulisic was bought in last year. They've added to that Timo Werner, formerly of Red Bull Leipzig, a fast-paced young man who I had the pleasure of seeing beat us in the Champions League when Leipzig knocked Tottenham out of that competition last season. Hakim Ziyech, who was at Ajax, again another young player that I had the pleasure of seeing and was great to watch. Mason Mount is still with the football club now, an England international, so he is making the step forward. The main person that they brought in was Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz is one of Europe's great prospects. So I'm envious of the attacking options that Chelsea have for FM21. Under the right manager, they are going to be a great team to manage. It's probably in the attacking department where there's the least amount of options. Arguably, there are a few out on loan, and you're probably only potentially going to have one striker if you're playing the normal Chelsea system that they would play. So Timo Werner is probably going to be your starter, although he can play out wide as well. Tammy Abraham, typical number 9, likes to have the ball into him before distributing out. Obviously is great in the air as well, as is Olivier Giroud. It begrudges me to say this as a Spurs fan. Olivier Giroud is a great player. I have a lot of friends who are in love with this guy, and I can see why, for obvious reasons. But he is a great goal scorer as well. He is getting on in years, obviously, coming up to 34, 35 years of age. So I would take his experience and add that to someone coming through potentially. Obviously, you've got Michy Batshuayi out on loan, a player that goes in and out of Chelsea like buses go around corners. It's a department that I personally would look to buy another main centre-forward if I were managing Chelsea. For me, it's the weakest of the 4 we've taken a look at. So there we go. That was Chelsea in a nutshell. A great squad on paper. Looking forward to seeing how people do with Chelsea this year. Obviously, there are a lot of egos there. There are a lot of players to keep happy. And you're going to have even more problems next summer when they all come back off their loan spells, to see how you're going to deal with them and who you're going to keep and who you're going to let go. Hopefully someone's going to take on the challenge of Chelsea, because they have the potential to win the title, in my opinion, in the first year of the new FM game. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to leave me a comment if you've got any other teams for me to take a look at. That was Who to Manage with Chelsea FC. I've been FMZ. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.